some of the core things that excite me about First Presbyterian Church of Corvallis is the worship. Worship is the core of who we are as Christians, and there is definitely a vitality in our worship and a commitment to worship. We have one service that now has a jazz band, as well as traditional elements of organ and a full choir, and it all works together very well. Music is definitely a core value of communicating, not communicating the gospel in ways that words just fail to do, as well as I believe music creates community.
One of the things I appreciate about this congregation is their openness to how God works and how God reveals God's self. We've always valued, obviously, intellectual pursuits. Last summer we did the Painting the Stars, learning about evolutionary faith. But we also are aware that God also speaks through other means. For instance, we have a soul hiking group where we begin a hike with intention and silence, and some of them have been as hard as Iron Mountain, and some of them have been as simple as the Jackson Fraser wetlands, where we discovered frogs and bunnies and beautiful hummingbirds. We also are aware that our faith is not just in our head, it's also in our heart, but also in our bodies. And we have yoga classes here where people come who are grieving or who are anxious or who just want to feel good in their bodies. And we move and we breathe together and we meditate together and we pray together. And it's a wonderful community of support as well as encouragement.
What I enjoy about this congregation, what I appreciate about this congregation is their willingness to try new things in new ways. And one of the things that they're doing for Sunday school is trying a new model and doing kind of a new take on an old thing. So doing traditional Sunday school, but doing it in a way that puts older kids in some leadership with younger kids and helps to facilitate a multi-age group on Sunday mornings.
Our congregation really has heart, and this showed up when we have an international student from the Congo that just graduated from OSU, and a year and a half ago he didn't know whether he was going to be able to continue or not, and he'd been active in our church, and this church supported the last year and a half of his education. Somebody several years ago gave money to the church to put in some handrails. Those people can get to the chancel, they can read. It's one more example of this church being friendly to everybody in this church.
Well, grace upon grace. The love of this congregation really coaxes me to search and to learn how we all together might experience softer, slower, saner, and generous questions in conversations with deep listening. We can create here in our community a quiet, inviting, and a trustworthy space, like an environment. And as Parker Palmer says, where the insights of the soul can come to the table. And that's the grace upon grace that this congregation has given me, to kind of step out into that area where I'm called.